everyone, and welcome back to Concept Corner, where creativity is key. I'm Xandros.
And I'm Drifter.
And today we are talking about Pokemon in our fourth part of our series. And today, well, we're going to talk about the service industry, if you will. Have fun.
One of the features that has been highly requested and has been a fan favorite ever since the 3D models were data mined back in Sun and Moon were Pokemon following you. This is a feature that's appeared off and on throughout the series and is something that fans have just been dying for. I myself am I'm pretty open to the idea. It's something that I'm excited to see again. But rather than having every Pokemon follow you, we thought perhaps we can combine that with the existing what do they call that in Pokemon Sun?
Ride Pokemon.
Ride Pokemon system that we're playing with these days. Combining in some of the fun frills from, say, even the new games coming up, Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, where we have Mantine and Surf, and the legendaries going through the Ultra Wormholes, this kind of thing. We decided to call this concept Service Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
And these are basically Pokemon that you can call in the field to do certain things for you, whether they're just a quicker mount for you to ride to get around faster, something to help you surf with, something to use Rock Smash and break through barriers, get across rough terrain, or just other silly little features throughout the game. This is something I think breathes a bit of life to the world and shows off what Pokemon are capable of outside of battle.
See, this was my idea, because I'm one of those people that, while I like the concept of the Pokemon following you, it was going to be too much of a drain even for the Switch or any system, because that's a lot of extra work to put in, and that would hold off it coming out for a while.
We've got
over
a lot
800
of
Pokemon, and if we're having a new generation, at least another 70 or more added on top of that.
There would be walking animations, running animations. While it could be done, that's still a lot of the game's hard drive and space dedicated just to that one feature.
So this was my baby of the whole discussion series, was the service Pokemon, taking the idea of the Pokemon following you that people want and have been asking for, and mixing it with the really, really interesting concept of the ride Pokemon functions, and expanding it beyond just, here's like 6 or 7 Pokemon you can use for these little things. Our idea was to take it and put it to where you have more options, like bringing back the climb functionality from the past generation, for instance. What was some of the other ones we had? Illumination.
Yeah, you'll use Pokemon to replace what used to be HM moves. So
Flash, climb.
Yeah, waterfall and dive and things like this. That way you've got Pokemon that are allowing you to traverse rough terrain and get to areas you wouldn't be able to get to earlier in the game. A reason to return to other areas. We decided to throw Illumination Pokemon that basically use a flash effect to light up dark areas.
Now the point here is, while Sun and Moon did have this function, they limited it to 1 Pokemon per function. Our idea is to have 4 to 6 Pokemon per function, so you can customize your team of service Pokemon. So, for instance, what we were talking about with our Illumination or Flash Pokemon, these are Pokemon that had either abilities, hidden abilities, or any kind of ability that involved lighting an area or something like that, or could learn Flash, or had something that emitted light, like fire or bioluminescence. So, for instance, you want to go through a cave. It's really dark, hard to see through. Your source Pokemon might be a Charmander. It's its small tail, low flyer, lighting up the air around you. Or maybe you brought a what was the one? Luminous, the cricket ones. Gen 2.
Perhaps Volbeat or Illumise, who have a glowing their tails glow. They a form of bioluminescence. They could fly around you or follow around you, lighting up the way forward with their tail glow.
And you can go something a little bit further with your swim team as well. As far as swimming, you want to have a Blastoise instead of a Lapras, maybe.
If you wanted to surf on the back of your Blastoise, you wanted to ride your Gyarados or something crazy like that through across the waves of the region. Why not have that available? Why not have that open and something you can actually do? And to make that more interesting, I thought it'd be nice for these to be Pokemon that you actually own. Say you have this Pokemon, you could actually designate a Pokemon through your PC to be summonable as a ride Pokemon. That way, say if you got like a shiny version of this Pokemon, and you think it would be sweet to show off that shiny Pokemon you worked super hard to get, You'd basically take your shiny Whalmer, your shiny Whalelord, and make him your surfing Pokemon. Although Whalelord's huge, so
It probably would be Whalmer, maybe. No, no,
yeah.
But the difference here is only certain ones are available in one version of the game or the other. So you might have one that's available to be used for one copy, but not the other. We want to have a little bit of variety, so this is the marketing aspect where you want people to buy both versions.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good way for us to have more variety as well. So you can have your shiny option for whatever the 6 options are. Let's say it's going to be 6, because not every generation is going to have Pokemon that can do these different things.
Right.
Like fly, or climb, or light up an area. We want to make sure that there's a good chunk of them, but we don't want to overload the system.
There needs to be some variety that you could do, but at the same time, if every Pokemon that can possibly do this is available, you're starting to run into that memory bloat problem again, where you've got animations that have to be remembered and stored for hundreds of different Pokemon. So limiting it down to a set of 6 per generation seems like a good, or 6 per version seems like a good compromise to give you enough variety. And since you're adding shinies, that's just a palette swap. That doesn't change the animations and all that, but allows you to customize your trainer and really feel like you're using Pokemon out of your team.
Now, for instance, you might even see some really uncommon choices for ones like for fly. What would you think when I said, hey, I want to go fly on a Pokemon? What Pokemon would you think of first? Charizard, right?
Charizard, Pidgeot, Aerodactyl.
Let's think something else from a recent generation. Would be a good flyer. Maybe Salamence?
Yeah, Salamence would be a lot of fun, especially Mega
How
Salamence,
about...
it looks like a Frisbee disc.
Now, how about this one? A Golurk.
Golurk have been shown. Golurk can actually learn the HM Fly, and in the manga, there's pictures of Golurk flying using almost jet boots.
In the anime too.
In the anime as well. So Golurk would be a really interesting, unique flying Pokemon that you could use to almost be like you're flying around on your own giant mech suit sort of thing.
You're jet flying on a Golurk.
How
a big
awesome
ghost
would that
rock Pokemon. It's awesome. And the best part is the fly function would play just like it did in Auras with Latias and Latias.
We want to bring back that system where you're actually free flying around the region and encountering flying Pokemon in the air where they're doing their things, and it's a more compelling method of quick travel. Sure, it takes you a little bit longer to get there.
But you can do tricks on your Golurk while it's rocket flying through the air. It's awesome.
And this could be a good way of adding in some of those minigame functions that are going to be available in Sun and Moon, that, like what you saw with Mantine Surf, and with traveling the Ultra wormholes on Lunala and Solgaleo. You could do a similar thing where maybe you're doing tricks in the air, or maybe you're collecting neat things in there. There'd actually be a fantastic way of collecting in the wings that were available in previous generations, like your Pretty Wing, your Health Wing. The wings actually raised your Pokemon's
stats.
Yeah, it was your IVs or your EVs. Yeah. Sorry, raised your EVs by 1 when you used them, which was a fantastic way of getting the fiddly little bits for competitive when you needed to say just an odd number here and there.
But again, like we talked about with the aspect of fighting other Pokemon in the air, like you saw with Auras, we had air encounters. We bring those back, have a little fun with it. One thing I think would be interesting: you're flying around, all of a sudden, random Drifloon.
Yeah, you'd be able to.
Because there's so many different Pokemon that fly that aren't just ones with wings.
Mm-hmm.
You can encounter different Pokemon up there that maybe you don't encounter down below.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good way to have more variety of Pokemon that don't show up in the grass or in the wild down below, but once you get the fly option, more open up to you.
And there are plenty of levitating Pokemon, Pokemon that tend to be thought of as being, further up in the atmosphere. In fact, that could be a good place for you to encounter Pokemon that normally were event or given to you. Like, if any Pokemon is floating in the upper atmosphere, I almost think Cast Form makes a good potential candidate.
Maybe. But the point is, there's versatility. Another thing is with these service Pokemon, like we talked about the weather effects in the last episode, which if you haven't checked out, right there, go look at it. We talked about how you can change the area around you with the weather effects. Well, those service Pokemon will be a lot of help. Well, we got to get to this rock area. Oh, these rocks are really hard. We can't break through them. Well, now they're ice. And now you have a Pokemon that's going to be able to run and shatter rock. Well, there you go. Break on through into a hidden area. So these service Pokemon are actually able to be mixed with the weather effects at some points. So this is really going to give you a chance to explore and puzzle solve a little bit.
Get into some areas you weren't able to get into earlier to find. Again, there's tons of different legendaries and mythicals that you could hide everywhere, as well as rare items, TMs, held items that help boost some of your Pokemon's abilities. And a good way of hiding these is to hide them behind some kind of an obstacle that can be overcome using a service Pokemon that you unlock the ability to use later on down the road. A reason to come back and revisit the game after you've been through an area.
Yeah, like I said, and this gives you the option earlier we talked about people want Pokemon to follow you. Well, guess what? You can either ride them or they follow you. You don't have to. If you're in the cave, cool. Use the Illumination Pokemon options. But if you're not, you can still have them out for fun. You got a little Charmander following you.
An interesting idea for the Illumination Pokemon is when you're not in a cave and not using it to light your way, it could also be used as a way of attracting wild Pokemon, because that's actually one of the effects of the Illumination ability is when a Pokemon that has Illuminate leads your party, Pokemon are more likely to appear. This could be a secondary use for Illumination Pokemon outside of caves, is coaxing other Pokemon to come in and investigate what that light source is.
Exactly.
In addition to that, other Pokemon that could just base follow you around could be Pokemon that are helping you find hidden items. Rather than having the Item Finder as an ability, and this was something that Stoutland did for us with its searching on the ground, it'd be fun to have cute service Pokemon that follow behind you that let you know when a hidden ability is nearby. Sort of a hot and cold kind of game.
More or less anything that learn pickup, it's going to be on here. Hi, Meowth.
Yeah, Meowth now has a reason to follow you around. If you have any fans of Meowth,
Whether Alolan or otherwise, I think the option should be there. Have either option.
Oh yes, this is basically a palette swap. Go ahead and have Meowth's, shiny and Alolan form following you around. Have Pokemon like Zigzagoon, Pokemon like Lillipup that have the ability to pick up. Would also be able to sense where hidden items are, and when a hidden item is nearby, they'll follow you. They'll have a little exclamation point that appears above their head, kind of like how Stoutland did. Hey, there's an item nearby, and the hint as to where it is maybe the Pokemon instead of following directly behind you, moves to the general direction that item is in, and it gets more accurate to where it is the closer you get. So it becomes kind of a following the Pokemon hot and cold to find where on the ground that hidden item is.
Now, that might make it a little more difficult in darker caves to use this, but that's a risk you might be willing to take to find some items, right? Because you never know. If you're playing a Nuzlocke, you got to find every item you can, making money or just healing items. Mm-hmm. Or even worse, Pokeballs. Ooh.
It's just an interesting, neat idea for things for your Pokemon to do to allow them to follow behind you, but not just be a simple, silly graphical thing that's doing nothing. Have a reason to have that Meowth out, maybe a Growlithe or anything like that out helping you look.
The point is, this would actually, I think, appease people like us who like ride Pokemon and people like, Drifter here and maybe some others that really want Pokemon to follow you again.
Well, again, Pokemon, a little companion on the journey.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that, and I would like that too, but we gotta look at this from a technical standpoint and how plausible it really is without hurting the game's overall functionality, as well as development time.
True.
So this is our way of finding a balance between that and giving the players what they want and frankly deserve for a great Pokemon game on a brand new system for a new generation.
Now there are a couple of service Pokemon that have some special ideas that I think deserve being talked about before we kind of move on from this. Go for it. I would like to see Dive being brought back.
Oh yeah.
And I'd like to see it brought back similar to how flying works, but instead you're basically holding on to a smaller Pokemon, say like a Squirtle or
Chinchou.
A Squirtle and Chinchou.
Chinchou.
And they're going to allow you to basically explore the water areas and free roam to go down there and find water-type Pokemon that don't really make sense for being fished up. Because I don't see much of a reason for a Corsola or a Marini to bite bait when they're a bit more passive or a Clamperl to hang out on the bottom and go after your bait. But it does make sense that if you're diving and you're free diving with your Pokemon, swimming down to those areas, that you would meet them down there and you get into battles with them. Oh, yeah. That also adds a new area of the Pokemon world to explore that we don't normally see a lot of. This was something that was brought up in Oris and the original Ruby and Sapphire that kind of went away, but I think it was a bit of a shame because it was a lot of fun diving down and seeing what the different areas were. So I'd like to see this added to not only the ocean areas, but some of the larger lakes in the game. So you can go down and find some freshwater Pokemon. Maybe go down to the bottom and find yourself a Psyduck or
some lost items even.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some secret items down there that could be used later in the game. Who knows?
Well, one of the other ideas that I really liked, I think deserves an honorable mention, was the ability Rock Climb. That was a TM or an HM for a while that allowed you to scale some of the mountains to get some more rocky areas. And one of the things I'd like to see done there is, this is a good use for Bulbasaur. in the anime, which I know we're not basing a lot of this on the anime, but one of the things Ash can do with this Bulbasaur that I think would be a neat use for quite a few different Pokemon that have tentacles or can use Vine Whip was the ability to basically grapple up onto an outcropping and then use himself as a grappling hook to pull yourself up. And this could be good. This could be a good idea with your climb Pokemon that normally just either use claws or hands to scale a mountain or scale certain areas. You could also use in those same spots. Maybe there's a rocky outcropping that Vine Whip or that Vine Whip or Constrict or any Pokemon that's able to do that could wrap their vines around and then hoist themselves up. And that gives you a very unique flair to how you're traversing that rough terrain.
And again, this is still falling in the aspect of certain Pokemon available in each version of the game that are able to do that. So that's why I said limiting at 6.
Mhm.
That still adds the variety, and you unlock more as you play the game. You only have access to so many once you get each of the different options as they come, because they're going to leak into you over time throughout the year. You're not going to have them all at once.
Right.
It's going to be like the ride page where you had certain ones that unlock after a while. This is going to be that, but then you have the option of, okay, well, with this service, we have these couple options. Well, you've done these special events. Maybe the festival unlocks an extra one.
Mhm.
So you have reasons to go back and collect all these, and your adventure becomes more unique as time goes on.
There's just something to customize it. Do you want to talk about all the different types of service Pokemon that we can use?
There's so many.
Right.
We have like 9.
I think so. I've got a
Something
list
like
over
that.
there.
But I don't think we need to go into too much detail. But these are just ideas. If you can think of any that we maybe have not talked about here, let us know down below. If we have thought about what just to talk about here, we'll let you know. And maybe you want to see what Pokemon might be interesting for these service Pokemon options. What ones would you like to ride on? What ones would you like to follow you? What would be their function? Let us know.
As always, I think the Creation Corner really is kind of a community thing when we get down to it. So we're throwing our suggestions out. We definitely want to hear your suggestions because I know that there's a lot of Pokemon that I would love to just ride on. One of my favorites is Arcanine. It would be a fantastic just fast mount or replacement for the bicycle just to get me here to there. If there's any Pokemon that I would like to have in the real world, it would be an Arcanine. So I could ride it to work.
Squirtle. I just like Squirtle.
Just Squirtle?
He's my favorite.
Because I would love to have an Arcanine that I ride to work, and instead of paying for gas, I basically just go through I basically just feed him in food. Maybe go through the drive-through and get him a plain cheeseburger. You don't want to put cheese and it's bad for a puppy's belly. But I can see just the bread and the meat being that'd be the whole thing. On the way home or on the way to work, I give my Arcanine a burger.
And now you've gotten a view into our minds and how we work. You're welcome. But thanks for joining us. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Check out past episodes. And we'll see you for part 5 here very soon. So as always, I'm Xandros.
And I'm Drifter.
This has been Concept Corner. And we'll see you next time.
Peace.
I'm so excited. You just can't hide it.
I'm about to lose control and I think I like it.
Dude. Alright, here we go. Hello everyone and welcome back to Concept Corner.
Toes.
I am doing an intro, goddammit. One more time.
I screwed the intro. I screwed the intro. Metronome dance.
Try again.
Yes.